Ray optics primarily deal with the position and nature of images formed when an object is placed in front of an optical element like lens, mirror, etc. The concept of image and object must be clear. To understand the concept of image and object, first we will see what is an optical event. An optical event is a phenomenon in which the velocity of light changes. And we are talking about which phenomena here? The phenomenon can be reflection, refraction, etc. And how velocity of light will change? The velocity of light will change, either the speed of light will change or the direction of light will change, or both can change. So now we will see what do we mean by incident ray. A ray of light before optical event is known as incident ray. And two more terms that we will regularly see is reflected ray and refracted ray. So let us discuss about reflected ray and refracted ray. If the phenomenon is reflection, then the concept of reflected ray will comes into play, and if the phenomenon is refraction, then refracted ray will comes into play. So it is simply a ray of light after optical event. For incident ray, I will use the symbol IR. For reflected ray, I will use the symbol RR, and for refracted ray, I will use the symbol RR dash. Now let us understand incident ray, reflected ray and refracted rays with the help of few examples. Let us consider a mirror. A ray of light is striking this mirror at a certain angle with the vertical. After striking, the light will bounce back in the same medium. Which event is taking place here? The event taking place here is reflection of light, and we all know this. So what is incident ray in this case? A ray of light before optical event. So this is the light. So this is the ray of light before optical event, that is before striking the mirror. Therefore this ray of light is the incident ray. And what is the definition of reflected ray? A ray of light after optical event. So after optical event, this is our final ray. So this ray is the reflected ray. Let us see few more examples. Let us consider a concave mirror. This is the principal axis. This is the focus. It is the center of curvature. As we all know that when a ray of light is coming parallel to principal axis, strikes to a concave surface, then after reflection it passes through the focus. Then according to the definition of incident ray, this is our incident ray, and this ray we are getting after the optical event, that is here reflection. So this ray is our reflected ray. Let us take one more example. Let us consider an example of convex mirror. Suppose this is the principal axis of the convex mirror. This is its focus. This is center of curvature. And we know that if a ray of light comes towards the focus of a convex mirror, then after reflection it become parallel to the principal axis. So in this case, which is reflected ray, which is incident ray? This is the ray before optical event. So this ray is the incident ray. And this ray is after the optical event, that is after reflection in this case. So this ray is our reflected ray. Now let us understand what do we mean by refracted ray. Suppose this is the boundaries separating two media, above is air and below is water. If a ray of light from air will fall, then after refraction this ray will bend towards the normal. As we know, when light travels from a optically rarer medium to a optically denser medium, it bends towards the normal. We will learn all these things, that is reflection and refraction, in very detail later. Right now I am only discussing with incident ray and reflected ray. So according to the definition of incident ray, the phenomenon taking place here is refraction. And before optical event, that is before refraction, this ray is our incident ray, and the ray after optical event, that is refraction, this is our refracted ray, R dash. Now let us take an example of a convex lens. This is the principal axis, and let us suppose an object is here, and if a ray of light will strike to the lens, it will refract. Suppose after optical event, that is after refraction, suppose it will bend in this direction. So which ray is incident ray and which ray is refracted ray? This ray is before optical event, that is refraction. Therefore this ray is the incident ray, and this ray we are getting after refraction, that is after the optical event. Therefore this ray is the refracted ray, R dash. Now take one more example of a concave lens. So let us suppose it is a concave lens. This is its principal axis, and as we know that if a ray of light strikes a concave lens, then after refraction it goes like this. So in this case, which ray is incident ray and which ray is refracted ray? This ray is before the optical event, that is refraction. So this ray is our incident ray, and this ray we are getting after the optical event, that is refraction. Therefore this ray is the refracted ray. Now we are going to discuss about object and image in detail. The first point is object is associated with incident rays. Now incident rays are meeting actually if yes, then that object is a real object. And if the incident rays are not meeting actually, then that object is a virtual object. Now we will understand real object and virtual object with the help of certain examples. Let us suppose this is a mirror and a object is placed here. So some rays from the object will fall on the mirror. What will happen? Reflection will take place. This ray will reflect in this direction and this ray will reflect in this direction. Therefore, these two rays are what? These two rays are incident rays. And what is object? Object associated with incident rays. Are the incident rays are meeting? Yes, the two incident rays are meeting at this point. Therefore, this object is a real object. Now let us take one more example. Suppose this is the mirror that we have and two converging rays are falling on this mirror. Now what will happen? Reflection of light. This ray will reflect in this direction and this ray will reflect in this direction. Therefore, these two rays are incident rays because these are the rays before the optical event. Are the two rays are meeting? Actually, the answer is no, but they will meet if we will extend this forward. So this is our object, and it is what kind of object? See here, incident ray meeting actually, the answer is no. Therefore, this object is a virtual object. Now let us take one more example. Let us suppose we have a convex mirror and two converging rays are falling on it. What will happen? Refraction will take place, but I'm not going to discuss about refraction here. So these two rays are incident ray or reflected ray. Since these two rays are before the optical event, therefore these two rays are incident ray. Are these two incident rays are meeting actually? The answer is no. They will meet if we will extend them further. So at this point, the two incident rays are meeting after extending. So the two incident rays are not meeting at this point actually. Therefore, the object will form here will be real object or virtual object. Meeting actually? No. So the object will be a virtual object. So this point will behave like a virtual object. Let us take one more example. Let us suppose we have a convex mirror and let us suppose two rays are falling on it. Two converging rays. After this, what will happen? The rays will reflect. This ray will reflect in this direction. I am not going to discuss here the phenomenon. These are the rays before the optical event. Therefore, these two rays are incident rays. Are the two incident rays are meeting actually? The answer is no. They will meet if we will extend them further. So at this point, at this point the object will be there, and this object is real object or virtual object. Since the two incident rays are not meeting actually, therefore this object is a virtual object. Now let us discuss about image formation. Image is associated with reflected ray and refracted rays. Again, the reflected ray or refracted rays are meeting actually. If yes, then that image will be a real image. And if the rays are not meeting actually, that is I am talking about reflected rays and refracted rays, then the image we will call virtual image. Now try to understand image formation with the help of previous examples. In the first example, this is the incident ray. After this, what will happen? The phenomenon of reflection will take place, so it will reflect. So this is the reflected ray, and similarly this ray will reflect. So this is the also the reflected ray. Are these two reflected rays are meeting actually? The answer is no. When they are meeting, if we will extend them backward, they will meet at this point. So this is the image. Now this is the real image or virtual image. What we learned earlier? If reflected rays are meeting actually, if yes, the image is real image. If they are not meeting actually, the image will be a virtual image. So the reflected rays are not meeting actually. So this image is a virtual image. Now let us see the second example. Which event will take place here? Reflection. This is the incident ray. At this point it will reflect. So this is the reflected ray, and similarly this incident ray will reflect. So this is the other reflected ray. Are the two reflected rays are meeting actually? The answer is yes, they are meeting at this point. So at this point image will form, and this image will be a real image or virtual image. The answer will be real image, because the two reflected rays are meeting actually. Therefore this image will be a real image. Now let us see the third example. This incident ray will refract, and this ray will refract like this. So this is the refracted ray and this is the refracted rays. Are the two meeting actually? The answer is yes. So we will get an image here. This image will be real image or virtual image. Since the refracted rays are meeting actually, therefore the image here will be a real image. Now let's see the fourth example. In this case, what will happen? This ray will reflect in this direction and this ray will reflect in this direction. So this is the reflected ray and this is the reflected ray. Are the two reflected ray meeting actually? Yes, they are meeting at this point. So at this point, image will be formed. This image will be real image or virtual image. Since the two reflected rays are meeting actually, therefore this image will be a real image. This is the diagram given and they are asking at point A, B and C find object is present or image is present and they are real or virtual. So if we will see the lens, so left hand side rays are falling on the lens. So optical phenomenon, so these rays are present before the optical phenomenon. Therefore these two rays are incident rays. And these two incident rays are meeting actually at point A. Therefore at point A we have an object and that object is real or virtual. This is a real object because the two incident rays are meeting actually at point A. So A is a real object for the lens. Now after refraction from the lens, the two rays converges at point B. So these two rays are the rays after the optical event. Therefore this ray is refracted ray and this is also the refracted ray. The two rays are actually meeting at point B. Therefore at point B we will get an image. Now this image is a real image or virtual image. The two refracted rays are meeting actually at point B. Therefore the image will be a real image. It will be a real image for the lens. We will see an image at point C of the image formed at point B. Therefore, point B will act like an object whose image is forming at C, and therefore point B and therefore from point B these rays are actually coming. Therefore these two rays will act like incident ray and therefore point B will act like an object for the mirror and the incident ray are actually meeting at point B. Therefore this object will be a real object for the mirror. This ray we are getting after reflection, therefore this is the reflected ray and similarly this is also the reflected ray. These two reflected rays are meeting actually? The answer is no. They are meeting when they are extended backward. Therefore at point C we will get object or image. At point C reflected rays are meeting. Therefore we will get an image and that image will be real or virtual. Since the two reflected rays are not meeting actually, therefore the image will be a virtual image for the mirror. In the previous lecture we learned that Light is an electromagnetic wave which travels with the speed of light in vacuum. Apart from vacuum and gases, light can travel through some liquids and solids. In the previous lecture, we learned that medium in which light travels can be classified as non-material medium and material medium. Non-material medium is also termed as vacuum or free space. Any medium other than vacuum is a material medium. In vacuum, the speed of light is equal to c, where c equal to 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, and in any other material medium, the speed of light is less than c. Material medium is classified as transparent medium, translucent medium, and opaque medium. What is a transparent medium? A medium in which light can travel freely over large distance. An example of transparent mediums are air, water, glass, etc. What is a translucent medium? It is a material medium in which light can travel some distance, but its intensity reduces rapidly. Examples is oil. What is an opaque medium? A medium in which light cannot travel. Examples are wood, metal, stone, etc. So light cannot travel through all the three kind of material medium. Light can only travel through transparent medium and it can travel through a translucent medium. A light cannot travel through a opaque medium. Light travels at different speed in different material medium. Any medium is characterized by a property called its refractive index. We also say it absolute or standard refractive index of the medium. The symbol that we use for refractive index is either mu or small n. Now we are going to see how the refractive index of a medium is defined. Let us suppose this medium is a vacuum and this is any other material medium. We know that light travels in vacuum with the speed of light, while in any other material medium light travels with a speed less than c. The ratio of speed of light in vacuum to the speed of light in a medium is called refractive index of the medium. So refractive index of this medium, that is n or mu, is equal to speed of light in vacuum divided by speed of light in the medium. Now let us see the refractive index of certain medium. For air, the value of refractive index is 1.003. We take this value equal to 1. For water, the value is 4 by 3, which is equal to 1.33. For ground glass, the value is 1.52. For flint glass, its value is 1.62, and for diamond, the value of refractive index is 2.42. What is the refractive index of vacuum? For vacuum, what is V? V will be replaced by C. So C cancelled out, which is equal to 1. So refractive index of vacuum is equal to 1. Since in any material medium V is less than C, and if this medium is vacuum, then this V is equal to C. Therefore, this ratio will be always greater than 1, and if it is vacuum, then it will be equal to 1. Therefore, the value of refractive index of a medium can be always greater than equal to 1. Equality sign holds for vacuum. Now let us see a numerical. A ray of light enters a diamond from air. If the refractive index of diamond is 2.42, by what percent does the speed of light reduce on entering the diamond? As we know that refractive index is equal to speed of light divided by speed of light in the given medium. So from here, V is equal to C by N. And the value of refractive index of diamond is given as 2.42. If we'll simplify this, it will come out 0.41 C. It means that the speed of light in diamond is therefore 41% of its speed in air. In other words, in diamond, the speed of light is reduced by 59%. Now let us suppose we have two medium. This is medium 1 and this is medium 2. Let us suppose the speed of light in medium 1 is V1 and that of in medium 2 is V2. Refractive index of medium 1 will be equal to C by V1 and refractive index of medium 2 will be equal to C by V2. If N1 is greater than N2, that is refractive index of medium 1 is greater than the refractive index of medium 2, it means that C by V1 will be greater than C by V2. C get cancelled out, or 1 by V1 is greater than 1 by V2, or V1 will be less than V2. So what we learn? More refractive index of a medium means the speed of light in that medium will be less. Now write a note. Refractive index is a measure of optical density of a medium. Optical density is a term completely different from mass density. If refractive index of medium 1 is greater than the refractive index of medium 2, then we will say that optical density of medium 1 is more than the optical density of medium 2, or we will say that medium 1 is or denser medium, and medium 2 is a rarer medium. Now we are going to define refractive index of one medium with respect to the other medium. So let us suppose refractive index of medium 1 with respect to medium 2, it is equal to refractive index of medium 1 divided by the refractive index of medium 2. And if we will substitute the values here, C by V1 divided by C by V2, then it will come out V2 by V1. And similarly, if we will define refractive index of medium 2 with respect to medium 1, then it is equal to refractive index of medium 2 divided by refractive index of medium 1, and put the value of N2, which is equal to C by V2 divided by C by V1. This value is equal to V1 by V2. If we compare the equation 1 and equation 2, then we can easily see that N12 is equal to 1 by N21. In the last class, we learned that of a pair of two transparent media, the one that has the high refractive index is called a optically denser medium of the two, while the one that has lower refractive index is called optically rarer medium. If refractive index of medium 1 is greater than the refractive index of medium 2, between the two media we will say medium 1 as optically denser medium and medium 2 as optically rarer medium. If we compare between water and air, then we know that refractive index of water is greater than the refractive index of air. Refractive index of water is 1.33 and refractive index of air is around 1. So between these two media, we will say water as optically denser medium and air as optically rare medium. Now let us take a pair of two medium, diamond and water. As we know that refractive index of diamond is more than the refractive index of water. Refractive index of diamond is 2.42 and refractive index of water is 1.33. Therefore, between these two pair, we will say diamond as optically denser medium and water as optically rare medium. So from the two example, we learn that in example 1, water is optically denser medium, while in example 2, water as optically rarer medium. So simply optically denser and optically rarer medium is defined for a pair of two medium. The one that has high refractive index is called optically denser medium of the two, while the one that has lower refractive index is called optically rarer medium. As we know that refractive index of vacuum is 1, and for any other medium refractive index is always greater than 1. So if we take the two medium as any medium and other is vacuum, then refractive index of the medium will be always greater than that of vacuum. So any medium is optically denser medium when we compare it with vacuum, whose refractive index is 1. Between the two, the optically denser medium does not mean greater mass density or mass per unit volume. In some cases, an optically denser medium than other can have a lower mass density. For example, refractive index of kerosene oil is greater than that of water. That is, between the two, kerosene is optically denser medium while water is optically rarer medium. But kerosene is lighter than water. Kerosene floats on water. Now we are going to see one of the phenomenon of light, that is refraction of light. The bending of light ray from its original path while passing from one medium to another medium when incident obliquely, then it is called refraction of light. The light ray will either bend toward the normal or the light ray will bend away from the normal. Let us suppose this is the interface separating the two media. Above this, suppose medium is 1 and below this medium is 2. Refractive index of medium 1 is suppose N1 and refractive index of medium 2 is N2. N and S is the normal at the point of incidence. The ray will bend toward the normal if N2 will be greater than N1. That is, refractive index of medium 2 will be greater than the refractive index of medium 1. And in this case, suppose N1 is the refractive index of the medium above the interface and N2 is the refractive index of medium below the interface. The ray will bend away from the normal. It will bend away from the normal if refractive index of medium 2 will be less than the refractive index of medium 1. Look, let us suppose the speed of light in medium 1 is v1 and speed of light in medium 2 is v2. In the previous class we learned that a medium having more refractive index, the speed of light in that medium will be less and therefore v2 will be less than v1. And similarly in this case, v1 in medium 1, speed of light is v2 in medium 2. So n2 is less than n1, so therefore v1 will be greater than v2. So from the two example, what we will learn, when light rays travels from one medium to another medium, it either speeds up or slows down. The amount by which its speed changes determines the amount by which it changes its direction. Now look at the third example. If a ray of light falls perpendicularly, then there is no bending of light. Is it refraction of light? Yes or no? If a ray of light falls perpendicularly on the reflecting surface, it goes into the second medium without deviation. Is it refraction of light? Because there is no bending. Let us suppose the refractive index of the above medium is N1 and below the interface refractive index of the medium is N2. Speed of light in medium 1 is V1 and speed of light in medium is V2. As it is clear that V1 and V2 will be different. So there is an optical event taking place. What is an optical event? A phenomenon in which the velocity of light changes. Is there any change in velocity of light? Yes, the speed of light is changing while moving from one medium to another medium. So there must be a phenomenon associated with it, and this phenomenon is also the refraction of light. The refraction of light should not be confused with the bending of light when it travels from one medium to another medium. Even though in the third case the light is not bending, it is a case of refraction of light. So in simple word, what is refraction of light? It is a phenomenon when light travels from one medium to another medium. This phenomenon is called refraction of light. The bending or the change in direction of propagation of light occurs except when it strikes the surface normally, that is when the angle of incidence equal to 0 degree. Now we are going to discuss the laws of refraction. As before we learn, if a ray of light falls obliquely at a certain angle, it bends towards the normal if refractive index of medium 2 is greater than the refractive index of medium 1. This dashed line is the normal on the interface. From the definition of incident ray, the ray of light before optical event is called incident ray. So the ray AO is our incident ray. The point O is called point of incidence, and the phenomenon or optical event taking place here is refraction. The ray we get after optical event is called refracted ray or reflected ray. In this case we are talking about refraction, therefore the ray OB is the refracted ray. The angle between incident ray and normal is called angle of incidence, and the angle between the refracted ray and the normal is called angle of refraction. There are basically two laws of refraction. Now we are going to see the law 1. The incident ray, the normal to the interface at the point of incidence, and the refracted ray lies in the same plane. In this case, the incident ray, normal and the refracted ray, all the three are lying in the plane of the paper. The second law is that the ratio of the sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle of refraction is always a constant, and this constant is different for different media. That is, sine of angle of incidence I by sine of angle of refraction R is equal to a constant. This is not a universal constant. This constant is different for two different media. If the refractive index of medium 1 is N1 and refractive index of medium 2 is N2, then it was found that the value of this constant is equal to N2 by N1. In the previous lecture we learned that N2 by N1 is also called refractive index of medium 2 with respect to medium 1. The second law given above is also called Snell's law. write a note. Note number 1 is that sin I by sin R is equal to n2 by n1, which is equal to refractive index of medium 2 with respect to medium 1. In the last class we derived that n2 by n1 is also equal to v1 by v2. That is the speed of light in medium 1 divided by the speed of light in medium 2. This equation will help us to solve numericals. Note number 2. If the first medium is air, then n1 equal to 1. And let us suppose n2 equal to n. Then put in this formula. Then we will get n, that is refractive index of second medium, is equal to sin I by sin R. And what is n? Refractive index or absolute refractive index of the second medium. Now let us see a numerical. A ray of light traveling in air falls on the surface of a transparent slab. The ray makes an angle of 45 degree with the normal to the surface. Find the angle made by the refracted ray with the normal within the slab. Refractive index of the material of the slab is equal to √2. So in the question it is given that angle of incidence I equal to 45 degree. Angle of refraction we have to find, and the refractive index of the slab is given as √2. And incident ray is present in air, and for air we know that refractive index is equal to 1. Now apply the Snell's law, which is equal to sin I by sin R is equal to n2 by n1. What is 1 here? Medium in which incident ray is present. And what is n2? Medium in which refracted ray is present. So in this case our n2 is refractive index of the slab and n1 is refractive index of air. So substitute the value sin I, that is sin 45 degree, divided by sin R equal to refractive index of slab, which is equal to √2, and refractive index of air we always take it as 1. So from here now we are going to simplify this. So sin R is equal to sin 45 degree divided by √2. Now sin 45 is 1 by √2. So 1 by √2 multiplied by √2, which is equal to 1 by 2. Therefore, what is the value of R for which sin R equal to 1 by 2? So R equal to 30 degree. That is, this angle will be equal to 30 degree. Now we are going to see one of the most common doubt. Regarding angle of refraction. So this is our incident ray, this is normal, N and S. This is the point of incidence, suppose O. This is the interface separating the medium 1 and medium 2. This is our refracted ray. This is our incident ray. And we know that the angle between incident ray and normal is called angle of incidence. And what is the angle of refraction? the angle between normal and refracted ray. So we will take this angle as refracted ray because this is also the angle between normal and the refracted ray, or we will take this angle as refracted ray, that is this normal and this refracted ray. How we will measure incident ray? Both the incident ray and normal lies in the same medium, and similarly we will measure refracted ray by the normal and refracted ray both lying in the same medium. So we will take this as the angle of refraction and not this, because this normal and this refracted ray are present in two different medium.